What's happening, Internet fam? So I was just reading an article today on voat.co, that's voat.co, about how Windows 10 is pushing updates full of bloatware that people have already disabled. So basically they cleaned their computer up, got rid of this garbage that Microsoft forced on their machine, and then they ran an update and then the garbage was back. And naturally a lot of people are upset about it, but I'm here to tell you that those people need to take a long, hard look in the mirror, because there is no reason in the year 2018 to be using Windows. Definitely not on your home computer. Sometimes you got to use it at work a little bit, but even then I would run it in a VM, and even then I would only run Windows 7. So I thought I'd give you a quick demo of Linux and what that looks like. This is my Linux desktop. It's slightly customized, but it almost came like this out of the box. I'm using Linux Mint Mate version 18.3. Which just came out a little while ago. They're working on Mint version 19, and it has pretty much everything built in. Here's the start menu, and as you can see in the start menu here, we've got Chromium, which is basically like Chrome. We've got Firefox. Everybody should be familiar with Firefox. Opera. I mean, so right away I've got the top three browsers that all work, and you can install regular Chrome too, but I like Chromium slightly better. It's got some of the Google adware disabled. Audacity for me is a drop-in replacement for Winamp. It's great. OBS is what I'm using to record this video. I'm going to show you that in a minute. OpenShot is a really great video editing software that's very easy to use, very intuitive. I think none of the major operating systems besides Linux come with a video editing program that is nearly compatible or nearly comparable to OpenShot. The very capable LibreOffice spreadsheet, LibreOffice word processing program, which is just called LibreOffice Write. The venerable GIMP, which for me is a drop-in replacement for Photoshop. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Webcam. Cheese, which is a webcam program, a very simple to easy to use webcam program if you don't need the full power of open broadcasting system. I think that's what OBS stands for. I use OBS every day and I can't remember what it's called. I'm even in the Discord. I'm like, submitting feature requests, all kinds of stuff with it. I really use OBS, so nerd alert. A generic text file editor, a generic calculator, and a few simple games, including a really great Super Nintendo emulator. You can also get a Wii emulator as well, which actually runs pretty well on this ghetto laptop. In fact, everything runs pretty well on a laptop that is not brand new. This is an older, weak i7 with only 8 gigs of RAM. I mean, this is not some kind of top-of-the-line laptop. It is really pretty. It's a Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro, which you can get on eBay for like, $300. I mean, this is not a super fancy laptop. And look how well it's running. And that's while I'm shooting this video with music going on in the background and all kinds of apps already open. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some of those apps now. We got, here's the LibreOffice Writer, which is a drop-in replacement for Microsoft Office Word. In fact, I like it better than Microsoft Office Word, and if you have old Microsoft Office Word files, they generally open up in this program totally perfectly. It's been getting better and better, the compatibility over the years, and at this point I'd say it's a total drop-in replacement for Microsoft Office Word, except for the fact that it has all the old toolbars that you know and love up here, so you can actually do things like file print, edit, whatever. They're not making these ridiculous interface design changes with the stupid ribbon that nobody likes. It just works out of the box, and it's using hardly any memory. I mean, it's probably not even in the top. Yeah, I mean, with everything else I got going on, this isn't even rating right here, and it's a full-blown word replacement, and I love it. I'm not going to save that because I just made it for this demo. I've got Chrome, I've got Opera. Here's the software that I'm using to record this right now. It's called OBS, and OBS works really, really, really well, and this program is also available for Windows, so this isn't necessarily a reason to use Linux. However, keep in mind that if you do have it on Linux, it runs just probably that much better. I mean, look at, even with all the stuff that I've got going on, and with this fancy Compiz cube, I've got this 3D desktop. I got 4 desktops. I just put a picture of some stars and galaxies in the background, just because I think they look good. And this, everything works just out of the box really seamlessly. Now I have done a little bit of customization to make it look cooler than it came by default. I've been arguing with the Mint Mate team for years trying to get them to update their default layout, but they don't. It's pretty close, and I get it. They're trying to, you know, kind of dumb it down for grandma or you know, your grandkids or whatever, you know. I'm a little bit more of a power user, but still, I mean, out of the box, they could make it work like this, and I think most people would get used to it right away. I mean, you got your typical kind of start menu down here, right? And you know, you got your little quick launch bar over here. You've got your clock and your you know, the apps that are open that require some kind of notification. And this here is just telling you what's open on every desktop. If I click on one of these, it'll switch to that desktop really quickly. So that's all that's doing. Yeah, I mean, everything pretty much just works right out of the box. You know, here's Firefox. What else do you need? Firefox with uBlock, right? uBlock Origin. I mean, you know, what else do you need to surf the internet? I don't know. I mean, this is all most people are going to use, you know. The File Explorer is really great. I'm not going to open that up because I have no idea what files are open there. And as you can see, with all this going on, you know, even just going nuts, like, you know, making it spin over and over again, you know, look at, I mean, I'm just not using hardly any CPU. You know, I'm using a bit of memory, but then again, I have like every, you know, I've got, you know, 5 browsers open, some of them with like 20 tabs open. So, let's see. Yeah, the GIMP, you know, the GIMP is basically a drop-in replacement for Photoshop. It can do pretty much everything Photoshop does. By default, it comes in a different menu kind of configuration. It comes, instead of single window mode, which is, you can see listed right here. Let's see, Windows. Instead of, it's not gonna let me draw and talk at the same time. But here you can see single window mode right there. Instead of that, it comes in this weird docked array that I think makes most people uncomfortable. So definitely just when you first open it up, click single windows mode. Again, that's a default that I think that the Linux Mint team could definitely change and just make it easier for people to use right out of the box. Not sure why they don't want to do that. Here's OpenShot, the video editor. I talked about that a little bit. These are some games that come. Some of them came, I don't think it comes with any of the games built in, but some of these games are great. I mean, look how fast it works, right? I got a 3D chess game going. I got a 3D desktop. I'm recording. I got music going in the background. I got all these browsers open, and you know, everything just works great. And this program, this is brutal chess, and I will say it is pretty brutal. It beats me pretty much every time. So, and you know, and I taught a chess class in the past, so I'm not exactly a total chess noob, although obviously I'm not that great. Or maybe I'd be able to beat the chess bot a little bit easier, especially because the brutal chess bot isn't that rough of a bot. There's also, you know, it comes with a version of Solitaire. I've got Spider Solitaire going on here. You can make it bigger, and that's what that looks like. And all these commands are really, really easy to learn and use. When I'm spinning the desktop around like this and doing everything that I do in here, it's all pretty easy to use. I mean, literally, I don't see any reason why, you know, your mom, your grandma, your kids wouldn't be able to use this desktop. It's, you know, it can be a little overwhelming initially, but the reality is it all just works out of the box, and it's actually really, really simple once you get used to it. All I'm doing is holding alternate control. When you press down the alternate and control keys, and then click anywhere on the desktop, then you're in this mode where you can kind of 3D control your desktop cube. Now, sometimes I make the desktop cube a little bit darker, or you can have it, you know, actually be wallpapers on every desktop. But for me, I think it's a nice cleaner layout just with the, you know, just being completely clear, and I like having the bottom taskbar completely clear as well. It just kind of makes it a little bit cleaner and nicer. And you know, and you can choose any background you want here for this background image. It's called the Sky Dome, and that's really easy to alter in Compiz. In fact, all of this is configurable, and it's pretty dang easy to configure. And again, this is all running on a computer that, you know, is not a fancy computer. You can get this computer for I don't know, maybe $400 if you're not a good shopper. Here's the enhanced desktop zoom that I'm using. That's how I'm getting zoomed in like that. Here's the desktop cube settings, and let's see. Let's go back. It's in here where you can change the Sky Dome, and you can tell right now I've got this picture set up. But you don't have to have an image back there either. You could just have, like, you know, a fade like this, from like a dark blue to a black. It's a little too dark. Let's brighten that up a little bit. Okay. Still not really bright enough. Let's try and get it even lighter. Oh, you have to have a Sky Dome. Oh, right. Okay, so you either have the Sky Dome enabled or not. That's how you get rid of the image. Now you can see I've got a little bit more of a, you know, a fade going on, and that's probably why I had that darker color selected. Yeah, so you don't have to have a background down back there if you want. You can just have the fade, or you can have it just be a solid color or whatever. And you can tell I've got the desktops a little bit darkened just so you can kind of see the outline of the cube on the edges there. But again, I mean, none of this is all configurable, and you don't have to have it like any of those things if you don't want to. Let's see, where are those Sky Domes? I think they're in a folder down here. Sky Boxes, that's what it's called. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to put my Galaxy one back because I like that one better. So you can tell it's all configurable, all very easy to use. Linux is free. It's not going to install bloatware all over your computer every time you run an update. It's not going to spy on you. It's not going to send your info, you know, to some third party. Now, some of the Linux versions do. As I understand it, Ubuntu does have some spyware built into it, so I do not recommend Ubuntu. I'm using Linux Mate Edition in particular. I find it runs faster. I find it's easier and cleaner than the Cinnamon version. Some people really like the Cinnamon version. It's pretty, it's cool. I get it. This team has worked really hard on it. Sorry guys, I like Compiz. I like Mate. It is what it is. But yeah, anyway, just another quick Linux demo because there's still people complaining about Windows forcing crappy updates on the computer. And unless there's like some kind of like dumb game you're playing, and I'm sorry, if you're playing video games and you're over, you know, I don't know, 18, get out of the house. Go do something else, man. Do something better with your life. Everything for real work works great on Linux. There's no, you know, if you got some kind of custom app that you have to have it work, you know, run it in VirtualBox. You know, VirtualBox, with all this overhead that we've gotten here, VirtualBox will run great. So there's really no reason not to run VirtualBox anyway. Look at that. That's fun. Anyway, that's it for today. Just a quick Linux demo again, just so I can post it on Vote right now and say, hey, idiots, quit using Windows. Quit giving Microsoft money because they're not your friend. They don't care about you. They're an NSA partner. They're spying on you. They're evil. And they're pushing updates on your machine that you don't want. So get rid of them, ditch them, upgrade.